What's up, guys? It's Richie Rich back yet again, and I'm just gonna give my quick thoughts about CM Punk's verdict of not guilty with his case that's been spiraling on for about a couple years now with the WWE doctor Chris Amann, employed by the World Wrestling Entertainment. So again, this whole thing has just been like, the WWE versus CM Punk, and these are just my thoughts on this. Yeah, be sure to check. Peace out. So, guys, if you don't know already by now, like, I'm a really big, like, WWE fan. You know what I mean? I was, big, like, World Wrestling Entertainment fan, back when it was WWF. Back in the day, with like, I started watching it mainly with the Attitude era, with like, that was headed by like The Rock, Steve Austin, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, the Dudley Boys, all them lot back from the era, that really got me into like wrestling, you know what I mean? And, I left, when like all them stars started to dwindle, which was in, the early 2000s, 2003, and then like when like CM Punk emerged and he brought all this attitude that was there from the Attitude era, and he was doing in this PC era, I became a fan immediately. So, he and along with Daniel Bryan made me a fan of like pro wrestling again. You know what I mean? So like I became punker, I started following CM Punk religiously, man, you know what I mean? I was just a big fan. And then like, that whole title reign that he had, from kind of Pipe Bomb, he was just such an interesting guy, and he was so different from anyone we'd even seen before. He had very like a lot of traits from Steve Austin, but he was just very cool. Like he was a cool kind of guy, a cool cat. You know what I mean? So I started just following him religiously. From when he cut the pipe bomb. He beat Cena at the Money in the Bank, took the title, put it in the fridge. Went on that 444-day reign. I was just like, this guy's so instant. He's so cool. And what I really loved about him, he's just like a regular dude. You know what I mean? If you see his pictures, even before he made this WWE, it's like me or you who just had a dream. Similar to the story with The Miz, they just had a dream and they just went for it, which, people should do, because like I said, it's one life, one chance, man. If you want to do anything, if you want to become a pilot, you want to become an astronaut, you want to become a teacher, you should just do it. Find something you love and do it, which I'm totally agree with. But yeah, as I saw him, like, that time he got like, stalled, you know what I mean? They stagnated him, with him like going on to quit the company because they kept on pushing John Cena as the main focus of the WWE, which I rightfully believe that if anyone was going to take that mantle of, the faces of the WWE, from like Hulk Hogan to Steve Austin to Rock, then to Cena, CM Punk was the only guy ever since then who was capable of doing that. And then, for him to leave the way he did, which is, I think, was the correct thing he did, because the way I look at it is like, it's not even him, but he made that business even more money that they could even dream, you know what I mean? Because Punk became such a big superstar in that summer of Punk in 2011. You know what I mean? He made WWE relevant, as he said. If you go back and watch his promos, all the stuff Punk was saying was the truth. You know what I mean? So he got so much eyes onto the product, and when he left, a lot of their fan base left with him, you know what I mean? And like, again, all this whole trial thing with Dr. Aman and, versus CM Punk, if I'm gonna leave the link below this video, check out my series of CM Punk the Maverick, the WWE, which I broke down the whole, Punk, Punk getting to the top and leaving to UFC. Check that video and you can see like, why, you have to support the guy, man. The guy has no reason to lie about this, man. The guy is already a millionaire. Why would he have to lie about this situation? But why I'm even like making this vid now, it's just to show like what happens when it's a person against the company, and when the company's BS and a former employee comes out and tells what really is going on in that place, the company feels bad, so they'll do anything in their possible way to affect that guy in the future, even though the guy has moved on. CM Punk's is now a UFC fighter. for what this guy to claim, because Punk on that podcast with Cole Cabana, he was just telling the truth. You know what I mean? He has nothing to gain from it. You know, and this doctor who felt so insulted, who again, you never know, it could just be Triple H's 4-foot nose just trying to find another way to F with Punk, sending him out, you know what I mean, just trying to pet Punk in another way. It's complete ludicrous, man. Yeah, man, I'm just so glad that, you know, I heard just the recent news that, you know, obviously he went in not guilty, you know, and I heard that, you know, what was on the line was about $4 million, you know, and somehow, like, Colt Cabana got dragged into it just because he interviewed him on his own podcast. You know what I mean? And it's just like, this is just nothing harmful. All they were doing was just stating the facts. And it was just on Colt Cabana's platform. Why the heck would CM Punk keep quiet about this? Triple H's little whore goes out on TV every time in Chicago and makes fun of CM Punk. You know what I mean? And he just left the right way. He made his money. You told him he wasn't a superstar, and he left. You know? So you're saying that now he can't go out and say terrible stuff like about them, and he can't, and they can still continue to do that on live TV? You know? It's the certain thing with them, WWE, how they run now, you know, especially with Triple H of those, like, just the, you know, I think The Rock said it best, the biggest a-hole walking God's green earth. A lot of people are fine with dishing it out, but they can't take it in, you know. This is the same guy, I think, when Chris Jericho started in the WWF, he told Jericho, if you ever need anything, ask me for advice. Jericho actually picked up the phone and asked him, because he didn't know where he was going one day, for directions, and he told him to get a map, and he was laughing with D-Generation X in the background. You know, they've always been that clique kind of thing, you know. This is the same guy who was with China and dumped her for Stephanie. You know, he married into this empire, and now all of that happens. And why I mentioned this, and if you check my CM Punk Maverick of WWE, I'm not just mentioning another plug, but why I'm saying that is, you know, China ended up dying like a lonely death, you know what I mean? And mainly, but that was down because of Triple H. You know, he just didn't want to do anything, didn't want to have nothing to do with her. And what it is China ended up passing away, and now they put her into the Hall of Fame. But yet Sunny, I don't even think it was Wonder Woman's Divas Championship is in the Hall of Fame, only because she's cool with the clique and she had a relationship with Shawn Michaels. But you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is this with the same with Punk. They would only put him in that Hall of Fame if he, you know, if the day does come, he does move on, you know, to the heavens, or like he ever makes peace with them. You know what I mean? Which is so ridiculous, because Punk is, hands down, he's one of the most mega superstars of the WWE, man. Not even just this era and ever, man. CM Punk did stuff for that business that's never been heard of. He's very innovative, you know what I mean? And he was so different from anyone who's come before, you know what I mean? Even now when people say like, oh, they've done a pipe bomb, who created that? Who created the ice cream bars, the best in the world? You know what I mean? Like, you know, all this stuff was Punk's idea. So I can imagine that, you know, CM Punk must have been going through hell, because just imagine that this trial was like on the same week he has his like second biggest fight of his career, you know, fighting Mike Jackson this Saturday at UFC. I think it's 225, correct me if I'm wrong. But, you know, he's got another like humongous fight this Saturday, you know, and the only thing that could obviously distract him is having this like, you know, old, you know, tired BS being brought to him, you know, another way, like just WWE is just trying to F with someone who got out clean, because, you know, Punk is one of the few guys who left before he was 40, and he left with his mind intact, he left with his money, he left clean. Most of these guys, I'm sorry to say, you know, look like a Ric Flair, look at Kane. A lot of these guys get so absorbed with the system because they think there's no life after wrestling, that they get sucked in there, you know, and they can't get out, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's a job, man. Like I said, when they don't need you, they'll just throw you out in the waste and go get someone else younger and who could be in that position. So, you know, Punk was one of the smart guys who said, you know what, I'm an athlete, I'm not going to wear out my day, I'm slowly approaching 40, let me get out, man. And now he's winning every day because the UFC is something that he wants to do. You know what I mean? You know, I know what they're saying, like he got paid for X amount of money for his first fight and he lost. But at the end of the day, that's what he wanted to do, man. He's not bothering anyone. He's not disturbing anyone. He's just a fight, you know. He got his ass kicked, but how many people in the world can go out there in the UFC and fight and not even be afraid, you know what I mean, of getting their ass kicked, you know what I mean? It just shows the toughness and the manner of that man. You know what I mean? So it's just like I said with WWE, and I compare them. They're like a lot of corporations. You know, like I'm not even. I may even make a video on this in the future. But like, you know, I've worked for a tremendous amount of companies, man. And what it is once you expose them for how, like, you know, disgusting they really are, they will do anything in their possible way to f with you because you got out clean. You made that money, your skills still kept your mind and sanity intact, and you bounced. They'll try to find any way to destroy you, you know what I mean? Because they don't want a former employee exposing them, you know, because it just makes their company look completely bad. Yeah, man, I'm just really grateful to CM Punk, you know, like I said before, you know, he's definitely, you know, my like top wrestlers are definitely Rock and Jericho. CM Punk's definitely a close third, man, you know what I mean? Like he, you know, just, you know, seeing what he fought for, you know, like I really love watching that. Man, if anyone hasn't, man, watch that Best in the World documentary, you know, the one that came out in 2012. It just shows like his fight and struggle and how he didn't compromise and he made it at the end, you know what I mean? So it's really cool, like you just see this journey, man. The guy fractured his skull and now he's going to fight you know, a professional UFC fighter this on the weekend, you know what I mean? So it just shows the devotion and the desiration of this guy to basically achieve anything he sets his mind to, you know, which anyone just has to commend him for that, you know. And it really makes me want to see this UFC fight even more, you know what I mean, now that he finally, you know, I'm pretty sure that now I don't think WWE can do anything, you know. Like I said, you know, it's so tedious when you see Stephanie on live television. Anytime she's on Chicago, she wants to put insults to CM Punk, you know what I mean? But again, it's who's the real fool? Punk's winning every day. Anytime they host a WWE show in Chicago, they're gonna chant CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. He's a legend. He's a legend to that place, you know. They'd be probably safe not even putting shows in Chicago anymore because it's always gonna be like that, you know. CM Punk will never be erased from that history because he was able to cross over from, you know, I hate to say it, but like a Dolph Ziggler, you know. And the reason why I say Dolph Ziggler is one of them guys. He's gonna complain, complain. COMPLAIN. Hope that's how you spell it. But he's gonna complain for years. For me, when I hate something and I can't stand someone, I leave. I bounce. There's no two ways about it. You can always find something in this world to do. You don't have to sit around and just complain all the time. You know what I mean? Dolph Ziggler has no wife. He has no kids. What are you doing with yourself? You know WWE is garbage. Why are you wasting your time there? You know what I mean? But like I said, Punk was one of the ones who had the balls. Who's like, you know, I'm an independent contractor. Like his contract said, I can leave, and he did that. You know what I mean? So I just say kudos to him, man. You know, Richie Rich is rooting for you here. I'm sure like you got a lot of fans in Chicago who's doing that as well, you know, and who's gonna be rooting you like against Mike Jackson and that. And what I love the whole what's so beautiful about the story is even if Punk loses again, it's a victory no matter what, you know, because he stepped in there against a guy who could destroy him and he trained his ass. Now it's 4 years he's been training for, you know, UFC. You know, he got beaten up the first time, you know, which again, it could have just been first experience, and now he's even getting a second goal. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think now it's no nice because there's no pressure on him. You know, he now beat this case. It makes him extra focused to go do damage to Mike Jackson on Saturday. And like I said, even if he loses and they say he's quit, no matter what, you can say that whole thing like an embarrass around the world. Say, for instance, like if I, for instance, say, okay, I'm going to go, you know, Formula One racing against Lewis Hamilton, and you know, and I've obviously not got that much experience. Or even if I want to race like, you know, Nathan Gay, the next Olympics and that, you know, I train my ass off like I always do in that. But even if he beats me, just that idea that I could actually race him and that is a win anyway. You know what I mean? Not too many people. There's a lot of people in this world especially they're keyboard warriors, man, and they will just laugh and they'll just talk cheap. I actually really understand what talk is cheap really means. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who ain't got the balls to do stuff. You know what I mean? They just say it, but they don't just do it. And Punk is just doing it this weekend. You know what I mean? He's following his dreams. He believes in himself, and he's one of them guys, like I said, he's now approaching 40. He married his beautiful wife, AJ. He's not going to have no regrets, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people will still, to this day, have regrets because they didn't have enough courage to, do what they wanted to do, follow their aspirations. Yeah, man, that was just a video I wanted to film because I kept on thinking, like, when this trial got put on, I just didn't even think it would be as serious to even reach this kind of level that it did, and it went to there. But man, I'm just so ecstatic that Punk got off, and what I mean, like, say what you want about CM Punk, man, but like I said, he's one of the most intelligent guys. I've never met the man. I'm hopefully one day I can find meet him, man, because like he's a hero to me. He stands up for what he believes in, man. He doesn't compromise. A lot of these people are BS, man. You know what I mean? And they hate it when you tell them to their face. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Look at Triple H, for instance. I remember that time he posted a picture when UFC he posted a picture when Punk got beaten by Mickey Gall. It's so tacky, man. Why don't you step into the cage and see what happens? But he can't. He's one of them guys who just wants to be a spectator. You know what I mean? So, and his talent, man, he was doing, the best talent he did do was get Stephanie knocked up, but hey, that's all I'm saying, man. But yeah, man, I'll just say, I would wish Punk luck, but, as we all know, CM Punk says luck's for losers, and that, but yeah, man, just hoping. I'm going to watch the fight, man, going to be rooting. I hope I still got my CM Punk Second City Saint shirt, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, just him getting over this case. I've not been in similar situations to that magnitude, but I have been in them kind of predicaments of, like, companies who just want to F with you and you basically don't compromise with them, you know what I mean? So it's a really good like a theme, like, not to settle for BS, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes when someone does wrong, you have to tell them. You know what I mean? Just like Punk did. Yeah, man. Thanks very much for watching this video. Anyone's tuned in. Like I said, I'll leave the link below to CM Punk Maverick of the WWE, which shows his whole story from when he blew up in 2011 to when he had his first match with Mickey Gall in the UFC. Check that out. And yeah, as a thing, I would encourage everyone to watch this fight, man. Against Mike Jackson, man. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a really, really spectacular fight, man. But yeah, man. Thanks for watching the vids. Remember, always subscribe. Follow me on my social media outlets. And always remember that Richie Rich will be back yet again. Peace to fingers.